Does the living trust say, I don't want to be on life support? Don't leave me on a machine?
We call them advanced healthcare directives. That's the formal name in California.
So that's not in the living trust.
It's not in living trust, and it's not in your will. It's actually a separate legal document.
And it's called a...
It's called a living will or an advanced healthcare directive. Living will is still a term that people use. Those living wills, probably the most important legal document you ever have.
That's the advanced healthcare directive.
Right.
Do you do that with a lawyer?
So I'm a certified elder law attorney by the National Elder Law Foundation, and one of the things that elder law attorneys really focus on that estate planning attorneys don't is that healthcare directive, those healthcare decisions, making sure you do that. It is surprising to me how many times somebody comes in, maybe for their will or trust, with a halfway filled out advanced healthcare directive from Kaiser. Kaiser's really good about giving them to people. So, they come in and they're just stumped about, well, what decision do I make? The language that whoever wrote the statute is hard to understand. I understand it because I spent a lot of time reading it. It says, choice to prolong life, choice not to prolong life. What does that mean? And people don't understand what that means. It's not a simple, which box do I check? Well, what do you want? What do you want? You're laying in the hospital. Perhaps you have COVID and you're on a ventilator. Do you want to be kept on that for months? Do you not? People have opinions about that. Do you want to have artificial nutrition? Maybe do you want that? Do you not want that? Do you want to be kept alive? Some people do, some people don't. What about artificial hydration? Those are all decisions we have to discuss. So when they come in my office, we go through and we discuss what that means. I explain to them, I actually have way more than I think I should about artificial nutrition, hydration, ventilators, and how they work, and that whole process of end of life. I'm really passionate about helping people. I sometimes actually am just paid specifically for the healthcare directive and to help guide a family through a cancer diagnosis, and that it's something I specialize in.
So is it a good idea to talk to a lawyer about the advanced healthcare directive?
It is, but a lawyer who actually understands it, because I'm not sure everybody understands them. If you really have a passionate feeling about what you want at end of life, you really want to sit down with a lawyer, and yours may be the standard free one at Kaiser is very short. Yours may be much longer. Yours could be very detailed.
You could have a lot of details if you're inclined to have a lot of details.
Yeah, most of them.
My grandfather said, "You're going to keep me alive as long as possible."
Right, and if you want that, then we want to make sure that is honored. Some people do want to be kept alive as long as possible. For some, that is a very closely held religious belief, and some people want to be kept alive. So we want to know that, because when you're 85, 90 years old, the doctors see you differently than when you're 20 years old.
He was 101.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go anywhere.
He didn't want to go anywhere. He wanted all the life support. Well, we need to tell them, and we need to, in that directive, we need to choose somebody who's going to do your wishes. And it may or may not be your spouse. So I joke a lot of times with spouses is, a lot of my clients as they're aging, they don't want to be kept alive. But their spouse, loves them and is going to want to keep them alive. So maybe they want to choose, one of their children.
So this takes the burden off of the spouse, doesn't it? Takes the burden off of the children and the grandchildren.
Right. When I have that written document and you're in the hospital and I've put together, your wishes, and they're saying the doctor says they want to put Dad on a ventilator. And he said, I don't want it under any circumstances. Well, now I have it in writing. I can call the hospital. I can talk to their bioethics team. I can say, my client said they didn't want it. What part of that don't you understand? You are legally obligated to follow their wishes, and you can't override them.